I think it's way past time. So what I saw, the professional answer to your question, from an industry perspective, what tipped this was COVID. So even for us at Zydii, where we saw openness and a lot of questions even coming from clients and interest in this space, was because of the impact of the pandemic. You know how almost realizing employees were affected in the mental space. In fact, I say most of us didn't even process that pandemic. Am I right? From a mental wellness, emotional perspective, we were impacted in so many different ways. Whether it's someone in your family being unwell, whether it's losing a lost one, and if anyone losing a loved one, and if anyone lost someone, I'm sincerely sorry. But I feel there are so many of those things that we just, it's kind of like we're expected to switch back into life. Are you with me? And I felt that with Zydii as well. In fact, I would challenge clients because I thought we've just been through this whole, it's the stuff we used to watch in movies. If you like sci-fi like me, na sasa tuko hapa, ati tuko, the whole world is locked down, kuna pandemic. It's if you even think about it, it's just how, and what is happening. And things were turned upside down. So I was disappointed, honestly, that not more was done to help people process. I feel like we all just, and I think Africans, even Kenyans, we're almost notorious for, I always say we walk around with repressed, but sorry for another day, repressed things, because we've not been taught, championed to process things in a healthy way. You're expected to, what's that phrase? Oh, kangumu. This kangumu culture, unfortunately, I think it's not healthy. Yeah, and kangumu, I don't believe in that. I believe, for you have to process and deal with things. But now, because we were never taught how to do it, mental wellness as an industry now has that opportunity to start to empower people. I find there's a lot of open-mindedness now that wasn't there before. I was even at an event last Friday, and I was surprised at how packed it was. Again, I called mental wellness through the creative arts. So even events like that previously, to find it full, I was shocked. I thought, wow, people are this comfortable now wanting to come into a space to discuss mental wellness. So the pandemic, I think, challenged businesses. I think we were forced to sort of bring it in, because when employees came back to work, there was clearly some disconnects. So we had clients even asking us to run sessions around mental wellness. We have mental wellness courses on Zydii, yay, and we want to continue to add more. So to answer your question is yes, absolutely yes. It's a space that needs a lot of work, but what is happening now is that there's more openness. I think this is the right time, actually, if you're building something interesting that can solve that problem for people. Yeah. So for companies or for individuals, so hey, okay, story teller, but let me try. DJ, you're letting me down. DJ. Guys, if you learn nothing else from me today, actually learn to have fun in life. Don't take yourself too seriously. Man, it's all Sunday. We are here. You have to make fun of DJ. So when we talk about big companies versus individuals, when we launched Zydii, we launched it as B2C individuals, what we call business to consumer. Exactly what Udemy actually is was what and that's why I told you guys. Remember my statement? Love them. Who remembers? Love them more than the solution you are building. Love the problem more than the solution. That's another story. I thought this was the solution, to offer individuals courses. And the interesting thing is it worked. People were paying. By the way, on average, a course of Zydii was just about 1,000 bob. In fact, we tested. Those are some of the experiments we were running. You have a course for 500 bob, 1,000 bob, some for 5,000. And most people, surprisingly, can you imagine there's a course for 500, but they prefer to buy 1,000. So I also learned there's such a thing as too cheap entrepreneurs, where someone suddenly thinks your product is not good because you're charging too little. That's how I learned that. So they'll pay 1,000 because it's all about value sometimes, not price, right? So, and it was working. Like I said, the first round of funding, I said I raised the 50K, was on that product. It was on B2C because we had sales and we were showing that it's actually possible. But it was not growing fast enough. And this is another lesson in business. It was, if I wanted to keep going comfortably, bootstrapping, running what we call an organic, simple business, I would have probably kept on with that. But the numbers and the revenue and the level of growth I was looking for, especially with investor funding, we were not moving fast enough, right? The big, as you all know, if you've not learned, B2C is a tough business. Those in B2C, you have my absolute respect. Well, I learned a lot about B2C models, baptism by fire. Then when COVID happened, again, interesting story. So by that time, we had courses, we had individuals, we had, at that time, it was about 12,000 people using Zydii, by the way. That was my traction. So like I said, it's not that it wasn't working. Are you with me? There was interest, but the revenue, paying customers, who's willing to pay, how much, how fast is it moving, different story. Then what happened was now businesses, in fact, literally it was like panic. Around that time, the lockdown was happening, mid-2020. Companies reached out to us. Can you imagine? Like, where you're thinking, biashara imesimama, it's all quiet, and then phone calls are coming in, and my co-founder, you know how, like office line, because by then we shut down our office. I'm no different by then from most business owners. Most of us were hit by the pandemic, one way or another. So even us, closed everything down, people are at home, the business has slowed down, people owed us so much money, we're not getting paid, same story. So clients would reach out, call the office line for Zydii, the official line, and they would say, hi, we're a company X. We've seen, in fact, it comes something like, we've seen you on a platform, you have courses, we didn't know someone local that does this. Can we train our team? Because we can't do what? In-person training. You see how my story is going? Yeah. And I learned through that experience that it's the proper story of opportunity meets preparedness. You never know in your business right now what you're sowing that is not for where you are now. It's for an opportunity that's coming that you can't see. That was it. If I didn't have the platform, the 12K people already using it, which means it was proven, the courses ready, I would not have been in a position to address a critical need. So Zydii's curve, you know that nice curve we like in business? During COVID, that it shot up. We became, because now suddenly, people were actually coming to us and saying, we need your help, we need your solution. And that's when I realized the B2B model could work. And I also just saw that businesses can invest in training their employees, there's a high need. So the problem is still the same. Are you all with me? But the solution is for the business to train the employees, because most individuals, most of us truthfully, depending on what you earn, you have limited capacity to invest in yourself, in our markets. It's the truth. So businesses, when we invest in our employees, we also benefit. It's a very mutual benefit that's coming to both of you, which is why most companies, I believe, are comfortable with training. We know how it's going to grow the business. But for me as an employee, as I'm paying bills and thinking about other things, it's tougher to actually step up and make that investment for myself. You're with me? So that's why Zydii is B2B. And it was a tough decision for me. I actually had to shut down, and people would even challenge me, why? Silikuwa inawork, kidogo, ish. You know, why close it down? The other lesson there, don't try to be everything to everyone. If I'm pivoting my model, I pivot it. I can't be two businesses in one, because it's hard with limited capital to run two business models at the same time. Are you all with me? So if my business model is B2B, B2B. The strategy for that, the go-to-market is very different. So we shifted. So right now as an individual, if you want to learn from Zydii, we do it through almost, I would say, community building. We actually offer what we say work moran. So individuals who come and they want to learn from Zydii, we don't turn them away. We add them to our community where they now have the chance to recommend us to their companies. You see what I did there? You know? Because the employees also sometimes are the people who give us the most leads, because they go and tell their HR that they want to learn with Zydii. Yeah, so that's the answer to that. And then accreditation, I think I answered that. Because we are not B2C, now you see why. So we are not in that space of offering the accredited type of content for individuals. For B2B, it's NITA, that's why I mentioned it. It's the official body in Kenya that accredits you to be able to train companies. So that's the only one we needed. Then the rest, like I said, is about the trainers. Are the trainers certified to develop the content they're developing? Is it credible? Yeah? And then how you reach international markets. It's all digital. No, it's digital and it's partnership. So two things. So digital is powerful. I think it's more affordable. Wait, who asked that question actually? So honestly, I think the digital marketing tools are many and they work. That's why I'm saying I don't know if I can give you any others. The secret though is finding the one that works for your product. Many of us are just sinking money into ads or other channels without understanding if it makes sense for the business. You're with me? So I think we underestimate strategy in digital marketing. Those ads for Zydii are not there just because it's nice to have ads. We know where is our customer, where is the person that you need to be speaking to. Are they on TikTok? Are they on Instagram? Are they on LinkedIn? Then you have to reach them through that channel. But that's a whole other story. Partnerships are important. Like now for South Africa, even as Uber has engaged us, and I'm looking at going into the South African market, I'm already speaking to trainers in that market. I'm speaking to someone who runs an association of startups in that market. Because if I can partner with someone like that, can you imagine? I don't have to do all the work myself. And I'm happy to share revenue. That's another secret I think entrepreneurs need to realize. Be willing to collaborate. Be willing to revenue share. Because if you think about it, it's saving you money. Instead of me struggling to go and buy one at Nimengia, South Africa, where I know no one, to start from scratch, one association with 500 businesses becomes my partner. And all those businesses are told about Zydii. So I've accomplished something. Yeah, and then for every business that signs up, we share revenue. I find it such a nice model. I think more of us should use it. So that's another idea. All right, I think I've covered all the questions. What was the other one? Opportunities. No, here's the good question. This one is a tough one. And I'll say, I'll answer from as a techie. So those who are not techies, bear with me. Yeah? AI is here. I know it sounds cliche to say, but where I'm sitting at with Zydii, I see it like, actually, AI can take me out of business. So one of the goals and one of the things I'm trying to do, and I'll advise every entrepreneur, you always need to be the one to think about how someone can kill your business, then you do it. That's one of the tactics. What can come now that can kill Zydii? I need to launch that product before someone else does. Are you getting my logic? That's how opportunity and disruption works. I think most of us, like I said, you're attached to your solution and your way of doing things, but the market is shifting. So I see the whole, I mean, I know it's been, how do I put it? It's been made like a villain. I know you're in tech, so I'm believing maybe you're more open-minded. A lot of people are afraid. I don't think we should be afraid of AI. We should be informed. Because these tools are already here with us. ChatGPT is already making Team Zydii very productive. By then my team uses it. Scripts come out faster for courses. And I've been amazed at how fast they've taken it up. But there are things I receive. Kwanza from you, Sheila. Huyu ametoa hii nini? Hii paragraph imeandikwa hivi, hii ni ChatGPT. I'm like, this kizungu is not for an African. But I was making fun of her another day. But I mean, our work gets done faster. This thing I thought should take 2 days to turn around. Then she done a document. I'm like, where? And I'm like, ChatGPT might have been used. So it's about us figuring out how we leverage that. So anything around the AI space is very powerful. That's why even the big players, Google, even with my work with Google and the funding we're getting, I mean, the conversations are all revolving there. So and I think with AI is so big, you know? I think it's finding that small one thing in something you already do. How do you add this? For example, for me with Zydii, I don't have to stop Zydii to go and launch ChatGPT. Are you getting? Look at your current business as it is and start asking, where is AI coming in to take my innovation to the next level? So for Zydii, I'll give an example. There's recommendation, what we call recommendation engines. When you're learning on Zydii, AI is studying your behavior, the courses you like, how you're learning, and the platform already telling you, we think you might like X. But then when you see that happening, all of you know you're already using AI. In Instagram, all these platforms, that's why you get hooked. Because they're using AI to read your behavior and make those recommendations and keep you on the product. So AI was even here, I think, a long time ago. We just didn't know. So that's what you do. It's a process. So anything around that space, right now, if you ask me, that's what I'm looking at. Second opportunity, I'll answer your question from a generic perspective, but I hope it will help. And because that's how I think about launching businesses. When I was doing something other than Zydii, it's look at the needs of the market. Because you'll find that and I won't say for Kenya, I'll say for Africa, there are very, very specific sectors that as long as you go in there with a clear solution, you're likely to succeed. There are huge gaps in education, right? I find agribusiness, by the way, gets a lot of attention even in the startup world. Fintech, that's why financial services, startups that start fintech, that's why they get funded. Because there are such critical opportunities there for our market specifically that people can see. So another way to do it would be to look at that, to look at in our market where are the glaring gaps that you can, you don't have to try and do everything. Cindy, tap into one thing, something that you do well. Third answer to your question, domain expertise. You, again, taking it back to my initial tip, it has to be an area that is yours. You see now, but I'm back. I might give you the opportunity, but if God meant for it to be me, who has the capacity and the skills and the purpose to solve it, you will struggle and I won't. Who's with me? That's why I'm emphasizing that point in my talk today, because it's something I've seen with entrepreneurs. It's what you're saying. You can research we can launch, but if it's not yours, we end up becoming very frustrated. So the last thing that could guide anyone with an opportunity is go back to self. Go back to yourself and ask, all the jobs I've done, all the spaces God has taken me into, all the things I've done, what do I know really well and understand really well? That maybe if I link that, say, with technology, right, or with something else, I have a unique chance to build a solution, like I did with Zydii. Sawa sawa?